Leonard Hamilton is a Hall of Fame coach, and of course, I had to bring on Locked On Seminoles host Drizzy Drake in the building for Freestyle Friday as we talk about that, and we get you ready for Saturday's matchups, the best bets going into the weekend. We want to have you covered. All right, let's get into it.
Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day, followed by Locked On Seminoles podcast with my host, Drizzy Drake, in the building. Thank you so much, Drizzy, for joining us. Happy Friday, friend.
Happy Friday. Thank God the weekend is finally here. We're able to relax, rest and level up, because trust me, right now, my shoulder is messed up from, going to the gym a little bit too much because I'm trying to be one of those healthier people this new year. So let's get right into talking some basketball because right now I'm sore.
I thought it was the fact that the Noles have had to try and carry the load for the ACC right now is why your shoulder's been hurting. You like that? You like that?
I see there.
No doubt. Well, we had talked about earlier in the week, Florida State taking down number 6 Duke, who probably will move down in the rankings after this, but who knows, because Indiana upset Purdue last night, and that's why you play college basketball, people. But a lot of good games going into the weekend, and also we want to talk a little bit about Leonard Hamilton because we had a conversation, and I was talking offline with Drizzy Drake about the fact that Hammy didn't have the best start when he came to FSU, but now is considered a Hall of Fame coach. And of course, we have Hubert Davis on the other side of things at Chapel Hill and a blue blood organization, and he is trying to find his way, currently sitting at 12-5 with some wins. But after that Miami game, I don't know, things are looking kind of shaky. So we're going to go through all of that. But let's start with the Seminoles, right? They have a big matchup on Saturday at 2 on ESPN against the Miami Hurricanes. And I'm just feeling like this is going to tell me a lot about the ACC after this matchup, how good or bad it does. If Miami comes out strong, we really have to have more confidence in Miami. They might be a solid squad. If Florida State, hits that thing, gets a W, I might have to, say, okay, we slept on them in the beginning, but ain't no sleeping now. What are your thoughts, Drizzy Drake?
I hate this game so damn much. It's really funny because I'm not going to lie to you, that Miami game from last week, when we did beat them during the current win streak they were on, 5. I personally am of the belief that foul at the end of the game should not have been called. I personally think that probably that win against Miami kind of, put expectations a little too high on this team, because me personally, in my personal opinion, it's probably one of the worst teams that Coach Ham has had in the past decade.
Yeah.
And then the Duke win, I mean, you saw the game. If we're being completely honest with you, that Duke game was just, we shouldn't have won that game. I think we saw like 36% from the field, less like 29% from 3.
Yeah.
And but the Seminoles team is finding ways to win, which we've always been saying that this is a very, very young team with a Matthew Cleveland, a Jalen Warley. I mean, Caleb Mills, while he may be a redshirt sophomore, he doesn't have that much playing time. He's still trying to acclimate to Coach Ham's system. So it's going to be interesting because it's going to be down in Miami, and Miami just came off. They lost that tough game against us, and then they blew the doors off y'all by 27 points or something like that. And
Yeah.
Isaiah Wong, Karen McGusty, and Charlie Moore that's a very, very solid threesome right there. To me, it's going to be a very close game, and if we win that game, it's going to be interesting because we talked about it the other day, like I think earlier in the week, where it feels like the conference is eating itself and making it look like
God,
the
yes.
yeah, like it's making it look like the Pac-12 of basketball. Whereas I always say, like, they never were going to win anything because they always beat up each other. We're doing the same damn thing right now in basketball.
100%. And I really said, probably in my mind, if I didn't say it here on the Locked On ACC podcast, FSU winning did not bode well for the conference. Like, that's not good. Like, Duke losing on, like, I know as, a fan, as someone that, Carolina grad, sure. Anytime Duke loses, did Duke win.com? No, of course. That's a great time for me. Sure. But in the conference sake of how many bids we're trying to get, it's absolutely not a great idea, guys. If we're trying to get more of our friends to play along come March, we need to have more people dancing, and you can't do that if you take apart the best team out there. But target on backs, everyone can get it. I think there is the only bright side to that is everyone can get it on any given night.
It is, and I will say that Raekwon Evans, shout out to you for defensive play of the game. Also, icing 2 straight games with 2 straight free throws. And it can say that I'm Raekwon Evans, and I made sure that Coach K ended his career at the TLCCC, the Leon Tucker Center, with an L. Coach K, last game there, an L. And you know how I feel about Coach K and Duke. I love every second of that.
And Wendell Moore taking that final shot, I was just like,
Girl.
Paulo Banchero's the guy. He is the guy. I'm not going to hold anybody to it. He's going to win ACC Player of the Year. If he doesn't, I don't understand. I get, we've seen flashes from Darion Sebron from NC State. We've seen Alondez Williams have great time. Cool. They ain't Paulo.
Hey, no.
Period.
The
Period. Pushing P. We're pushing P. Okay.
The end of his name is Hero.
Okay.
Let the man live up to his damn name. You can't spell Banchero without Hero.
Give him the rock and get out the way.
Yeah.
He literally put you back into that game. Why would you do anything other than give him the ball back, on that last possession in overtime? In case anyone didn't know, it was 78-79. Florida State win over Duke Blue Devils. But I'm telling you what, he inbounded it, and then Wendell Moore tried to take over. That's not your job, and that's okay. Know your role, big dog. I know you're a senior leader, but that was Paulo's moment, and you took it away.
You ain't that guy, pal Wendell. You ain't that guy. No, but I mean, like, it's really funny because I kind of want to know, why did Paulo Banchero take 10 to 12 minutes before taking his first shot in the second half? Was that I mean, our defense was really good that game. We had, I think, 16 turnovers. I mean, like, forced. But with Banchero, like, that kid he just immediately took over. I think with Tariq Ellis, I think is the kid name that came. No, sorry, Tariq Keels.
Trevor Keels.
Thank you, Trevor Keels is the kid that came out. And like, once with Jonathan, I think Jonathan Roach came in, and then literally with Banchero just like took over. I think he scored like 8 or 9 points to force the OT. And then literally was the majority of the scoring actually in overtime. So I was like, why do we not keep passing him the damn ball? It's like with Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Like, he's down there somewhere. Just throw it right to him every single damn time.
Absolutely. And I think that going back to the Florida State Miami game again, it'll be on Saturday at 2 p.m. The way Wong and McGusty just took over the game is how I feel like they're going to have to deliver this weekend, when they were, giving everything they got to UNC and making them hurt every single play. And then you had, what was it, Hamburg? Is that his name? Having one of the games of his life, putting up career high 21 points. And it was on another level, being a big man. And obviously Carolina had the opportunity to stay in the game, and they should have fed their big men as well, but it didn't happen. And so we lived. So that is one of the biggest games we have going into the weekend. But there are other matchups that we don't want to exclude, and we got to talk about. Let's also talk about Syracuse and Duke, starting at the top of the lineup. It's 12 o'clock. A must win for the Syracuse Orangemen. They have to play in Cameron. They are in desperate need of a win. They're currently sitting at 9-9. And like Wake Forest, having to play a Duke team coming off a loss, had to be you, dog.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's really funny because you tweeted out that GIF from the movie Miracle where Coach Herbrooks makes them run the suicides like again.
Yeah.
I am without a shadow of a doubt. The moment the plane landed back in North Carolina at Duke, Coach K made them practice.
Yeah.
And Coach K made them run that, especially with Wendell Moore, because that game was an easily attainable. There should have been no reason why they shouldn't have won that game. And the fact that kept it close with how poorly we played, I bet you Coach K is hot. So I feel really bad for the Syracuse team. Like, I know lines aren't out until the morning of. I wouldn't be surprised if the opening line right now is going to be 12.5, maybe 13. Take them by 20, because Syracuse is going to be that sacrificial lamb to be like, kind of jumpstart them up again, because that just, I hate that it had to be you guys.
It had to be a serious refocus. And then also you have at noon, Virginia Tech and Boston College. Virginia Tech coming off a big win against NC State. Despite the fact that the Wolfpack really clawed their way back into that matchup, the Hokies were able to pull it off. And I think they're just putting the pieces together to have a solid squad as they're heading into ACC tournament play, because they're going to have a strong showing there if they want to get to that NCAA tournament.
I mean, yeah, they're going to need to, but it's going to be really interesting because, like, I think we said at the beginning of the year, we need to see how to play more games, because they did seem like one of the more well-rounded, better teams actually in the conference. It kind of seems to me they're probably one of the more fraudulent teams, like probably heading into probably February.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you look, they have losses towards Virginia, who isn't a particularly good team. They got beat up by Duke, but then they lost to Dayton. They lost to a Wake Forest team that now we know is pretty good, but they lost by 20 points. So now you're kind of seeing who actually on Virginia Tech right now you're like truly scared of, and like also like basically speaking, like, I mean, yeah, they had clawed, North Carolina State almost clawed their way back, but it's like, is this team really damn that good? And if you look at their resume, what win actually truly like stands out to you, honestly?
That's fair. I think that's a fair point. And I would say the NC State win, but NC State is doing NC State stuff. So, no, there's not there. Good points. Very valid. I'm going to give you that one. But Boston College, also a team that's 7-9. I don't think anybody thought they were going to have 7 wins this season.
I
So,
didn't.
don't sleep on the Eagles. Coach Grant is definitely giving people more than what they have bargained for with that group. And I feel like if the Hokies try and play down, it certainly can be one that they get caught slipping. So there's that. Other half of the game, got to go through the rest of the list here. But before I do, want to remind you guys about NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. With NetSuite, you can automate your processes and close your books in no time while staying ahead of your competition. 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite. Over 28,000 businesses already use NetSuite. So for the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/LOCKED. Again, head to netsuite.com/locked for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. Drizzy Drake in the building, Locked On ACC podcast. You can find us every single day for up to 30 minutes a day. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can also subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Locked On ACC or our personal handles down there on the screen. If you are currently watching now, we have to go over the rest of these games here on Saturday, 4 o'clock. Notre Dame will take on Louisville, a Notre Dame team, 11-6, a Louisville team, 11-7. Two great schools who are having an up and down year can certainly have it rolling for them. And Notre Dame relies on that great 3 ball, and they came up short. They almost came up short against a team like Howard, but shout out to HBCUs, right? Given the opportunity to go play at Howard, Coach Mike Bray. I want to give him an extra nod for that because I think it's incredible that he took his team up there and he let them play. And everyone who's saying that's why we don't let our teams play mid-majors, man, if y'all ain't got it, just say you ain't got it. And that's what it is. But I digress. I could be on the soapbox all day. Louisville, on the other hand, Chris Mack, he's getting frustrated. The media is getting frustrated with old boy. And I'm just feeling like, all right, what can we do? What's got to give? How can the Cardinals pick up a win? Or how can Notre Dame keep things going?
So I think that's really interesting because you talk about their 3-point defense and 3 points like overall. Like Notre Dame actually defensively is like top, I think, 50 in efficiency for defense when it comes to the 3. Whereas Louisville is actually, I think, top 30, top 45 when it comes to 3 balls. So it's going to be very interesting matchup like from that sort of thing. To me, Louisville, I think, kind of has to exploit that a little bit more. But it is going to be to me, this is going to be the game of the weekend because I think it's the most evenly matched. I think it's going to be probably the best game to watch, basically, which we kind of need right now because none of the games the past few days have been very, great unless you're a fan of the team. So to me, I think Louisville definitely needs to probably actually sink those 3 balls and kind of like basically it's sort of edge them out a little bit that way.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I wouldn't even have them tap for that, but I might circle that on my calendar. Virginia and NC State, 2 teams that are middle of the road, middle of the pack. Virginia's having an up and down year. They're just giving me, I don't know what they're giving me. It's giving, we know what you do and how you kind of play now, so it's not as fun because we know it's going to be low scoring. It's going to be defense, quote unquote, and maybe you guys are going to shoot a couple shots, but it's not quite boding well. NC State, on the other hand, I love this team. I know it's crazy, but I do. They have a lot of heart. Can't always put it together, but the kids got heart. And sometimes you just have to be happy with that. I don't know. I'm not a moral victory person either, so I don't even know why I said that. But something about them, I really want them to do well. I just want them to finish all the way to the end when the clock hits 0, they get a win. That's what I want for them.
It's Darian Sebron. I mean, yeah. I think that's literally the reason why. I mean, like if you watch any of their games, that kid I think was their leading scorer for a little bit, but then like the players came back, he's kind of taking a step back. But if you notice, people are keying on him. He still is performing really well, but you could just see the motor and the hustle. And he just, it seems like he's like, when you say 110%, my man is giving like 115, 120 every single damn play. And that's kind of why you love to watch this team play. And that kid's special, man. I actually can't wait to see when draft wars start to come out. I kind of want to see where he kind of falls on that because that definitely, he's a kid that's going to probably be a very solid player actually at the professional level. And to me, the team kind of ends with them because they can close out games, but maybe just sometime soon they'll be able to because that's a team that you don't want to face at conference play or at tournament time because Georgia Tech was like that last year. True. And Georgia Tech won the conference. Georgia Tech actually performed well in the tournament. So there may be this year's Georgia Tech where it's like, damn, they might not have any sort of like certain star, like, like a Paolo Banchero or Franz Wagner from Michigan last year, but that definitely is a team that you don't want to play because they don't give up. And they might, and if they find out to close games, that's a dangerous ass team.
That's a really good point, Drake, because I think, they have that cardiac pack energy where they're going to make you stress out the entire time, but they may be able to pull it off in the end. So, yeah, definitely could be a team to make some noise during the tournament. And I also like Traquavion Smith. He's a young guy that went into Cameron and definitely shot the lights out. And I think Cam Hayes is having a sophomore slump, but at the right time, anybody can catch lightning. I'm hoping that Manny Bates comes back. I don't know what his eligibility is looking like, but I want them to give Keats one more year. I know everyone's on the hot seat about him and everyone's not feeling him, but I just, something in me, I have a little heartstrings. Like, just give this guy one more shot with a good team, a mature team who understands the assignment, and they can roll. All right, 2 more games here. Pittsburgh and Clemson. Pittsburgh, a team that, they have some up-down moments. Shout out to their big man, Mr. Hughley, holding it down. They have some down moments at times. Clemson is always going to be a solid team, currently sitting at 10-8. And as I read these, current records, I'm like, God, there's a lot of losses on here for the ACC. It's not boding well. But this one, do we feel like the Tigers are going to be an easy matchup, or will the Panthers kind of try and step up this time?
It's going to be interesting because I think that, like, from what I'm looking at right now, like, Clemson's favored to beat them by like 10 points, or like when lines start dropping out. And this is a Clemson team that just got absolutely throttled by Syracuse by 13. And to me, and they're on a 3-game losing streak, and that's something that's kind of like, it probably is definitely a bad taste in their mouth for that team. But then when you look over at Pittsburgh, like, they're not that great. Personally, in my personal opinion, they're not that great of a team, and like, this should be a game that Clemson should easily handle. And I mean, I know that Pittsburgh played Virginia very close recently, which, as much as we don't like Virginia and how we find them, I personally find them as a boring ass team to watch every single time, but it's effective. So, I mean, hey, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But that might be something more of those, like, I think that Clemson should probably handle this game extremely easily.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Well, I don't want to waste my time on Clemson and Pittsburgh because I feel like it's just going to be another ACC game in the books. I will say the one you circled on Saturday night at 8 p.m. on ACC Network, North Carolina versus Wake Forest. That's the one, to me, where if Carolina does not show up in a big way, like, I don't even care if it's close and they lose. If you don't, I was going to say something inappropriate, but it's not a cuss word, but whatever.
No, you let it out.
If you gotta let the cojones drop a little bit here. Like, where are we? We got to figure out who we are as a man. Okay. We got to figure out who we are as men, because no leaders on that team currently. I want to see Coach Hubert Davis get mad. I know he doesn't cuss, but man, if he could just give me a frick or something, a darn, like a hardcore daggum, like something. Let me know there's a pulse over there in Chapel Hill, because let me tell you what, them boys in Winston-Salem, they not playing. And Wake Forest, I ain't even gonna be mad. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I feel like it's going to be a long night for the Tar Heels.
Yeah. This is actually a game I'm going to take y'all in, primarily because I think everyone is expecting right now for Wake Forest to, like, show that they probably are actually for real. Finally, I mean, but if you see that most of the games they played for, like, big, like, name teams, they lost to Duke. I mean, Louisville, we know they're not that great, but they still lost to Louisville, like a name brand in college basketball. And if you look at trending wise, LSU, the same thing, they lost. So to me, it's like, if you look at big name brands from college basketball, they don't know how to step to the occasion. Part of being a good team is, like, kind of playing out your weight, because it's a little more difficult for smaller schools like that. And to me, I'm still a believer in Miranda Baycott. See, I almost caught myself. I got it. But to me, this is a Wake Forest, North Carolina team that they definitely need to wake up after Miami. But I kind of also say against Miami, I think Miami's good. Not a lot of people do. I think they're really damn good. I think they have a very solid roster. A lot of people, like, to me, playing that experience, like, that matters a lot, especially in college basketball. When I say, and, like, to me, like, that was I know it was like a 30-point game, 27-point loss, but that's something that definitely Coach Hubert Davis, I mean, he may not be cussing, but that man definitely had them doing a little bit of extra work before this game. So I wouldn't be surprised if UNC kind of shows up and shows out for this game.
Every time a coach decides not to make it because of illness and not COVID related, the team ends up doing well. So I don't know if, it happened with Duke, Coach K, they had to FaceTime in the locker room. It happened with Wake Forest, and Coach Forbes was out for an illness. So maybe Hubert Davis just wants to have a cold, one of these matchups certain soon if they can't figure out how to get a win. So I'm just throwing, ideas out there. You don't have to keep them, guys. It's not for free. Always pay me for my time and my ideation. But you've heard all the matchups going into Saturday, and you know what to do when it comes to getting these bets together. The lines come out tomorrow morning, and we want you guys set. So go to BetOnline, range your number one spot for all of the best sports wagering action for 2022, from football, basketball, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers. It is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. Bet online. You go to betonline.ag where the game starts, and you can get a promo code of Locked On, LOCKEDON, and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. You can either use a desktop or mobile website. Again, go to betonline.ag. All right, we're wrapping up the show here, Locked On ACC podcast. I'm your host, Candace Hubert. Didn't say it at the top of the show, but I feel like you guys can read, and it's fundamental. And you log on every day. I got some faithful people who just know what time it is. But if it's your first time listening, thanks so much for joining. If you've lasted all through 20 minutes and 37 seconds, I appreciate you. It's a vibe. Drizzy Drake is always our Friday host. Freestyle Friday holds it down. Locked On Seminoles podcast. Him and his crew do big things when it comes to the Noles talk. Sometimes they have spaces and it gets wild, but you never know. I pop in from that time to time. I'm learning to pop into these spaces from ACC teams so I can just hear what the other side thinks. And it's never until you go into another space that you hear about how people feel about your school that it's very amazing. Like, oh, I didn't know people hate North Carolina like that. And it's like, oh, damn. It's like, oh, I didn't know people hate Duke like that. Oh, damn. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's very interesting to me.
It's so funny because I hopped in the Miami Cane space the other day. I'm like,
Yeah.
I knew, I'm like, there's some weird respect in here, but then that's immediately cratered out. And I was in an SEC space. I'm like, damn, they really schools freaking hate my school. I'm like, damn, what did we do to y'all? Like, I know our Twitter is toxic, but damn, well, I love you guys by the way, Twitter. By the way.
Right. We had I was listening to Virginia, and they were talking about their new OC, or there's something, new position, something. And I swear they were just going in on UNC because they were talking about Dre Bly and the defense and the fact that he's out recruiting the Virginia standpoint. And I was just like, well, he doing something right. Now, whether they can put it together, okay. And I never got the opportunity to really talk about Coach Bateman being fired here, but I am not sad. So anyway, Saturday games.
Have fun in Florida.
Right. I mean, I guess that's probably good for y'all. That's actually great for Florida State.
Oh, I know. Matchup. I am so happy he's going to be the new line coach because I'm watching. I'm like, damn, who's that guy? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And then quick reminder: we have one game on Sunday. Georgia Tech will play Clayton State, and so that'll be good to go. I don't know why they haven't played a game yet, but Clayton has not, and it'll be at 5 o'clock on ACC Network Extra. So get the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets some love there Sunday, and then of course we have some really good women's games. If you have not, I don't even know how I can say this enough. If you have not watched the women's game, run it back. Because last night, the North Carolina State Wolfpack, 31-9, fourth quarter comeback to beat number 3 Louisville. Are you kidding me? Number 2 on ESPN, top 10 story. They always do the highlights. And they made number 2 because it was just that incredible. Diamond Johnson, got to give a shout out to my girl because talk about a shooter. You want to talk about Alyssa Cunane doing her thing. Solid. Crutchfield, solid. Oh my gosh. It was great. They're not even my team. And I was just thoroughly impressed. And I like Louisville, but I was just thoroughly impressed by the comeback. But I think for women's basketball, you see just the drop off is crazy, right? I think when you get to number 7, number 10, it gets real dicey real quick.
Now, I remember growing up, when we had it back in high school, watching and everything else. I mean, that's very true. Where once you go out of the top 4 or the top 5, the drop off is really, really real.
Yeah,
and it's kind of funny because I feel the same way about that for men's baseball. Because in my personal opinion, if you look at most of the Southern schools, they're the ones in the top 10 aside from a California school. It's really interesting to see which sports in general basically have that steep drop off, because we kind of have that in football when it comes to conferences, because there's the SEC, then the Big Ten, but then there's literally everyone else. So I think it's kind of funny how you mentioned that with the talented drop off,
yeah.
Especially because recruiting for women's basketball, it's got to be also a difficult thing too. It's kind of I would love to actually hear more about that.
Yeah, no doubt. And before I get you out of here, of course, I mentioned at the top of the show, I want to talk about Leonard Hamilton real quick because I was watching Packer and Durham, and it was one of these stats that they put up on the board. We talk about first year coaches, and of course, me being a Carolina grad, thinking about Hubert Davis and people evaluating whether or not he's been successful. It looked at the start of careers, right? And Florida State Leonard Hamilton first season 4-12. And currently, we got Hubert Davis sitting at 12-5. And we're not trying to compare those two coaches specifically, but just in general, the pressures of being, an ACC coach trying to win early and win often to now being someone who is a Hall of Fame coach. Why did people have more patience with Leonard Hamilton than it seems that they are having with like the coach Hubert Davis's of the world?
Because when he took the job, he didn't have this massive microscope on the basketball program. Like,
True.
when Coach Ham started there, it was 2002, 2003. FSU had been, I think, in 3 straight national championships back in the 90s, and we competed for Orange Bowl every single damn day, but we're a drinking school with a football problem. That's the way we describe FSU football, FSU sports in
I
general.
love that.
And to me, like, basketball wasn't that damn good back in the day at all. I know we made one championship game, but that was, like, back in the '60s or '70s. I think we played
Mhm.
against one of the, UCLA teams back in the day, I think John Wooden. But aside from Sam Cassell, Tony Douglas too, like, it didn't really matter. We basketball was something extra to do if you really cared
Yeah.
about it. And then Coach Ham has come in, and this is where I kinda like he should be in the Hall of Fame, that he's made it so that people like me, people like Dave actually wanna go out of our way to watch, actually like, consistently follow the entire program from start to finish. And
Yeah.
not only does it for the fans, he does it for these lottery picks that shouldn't even be considering our school when we have a Duke, a UNC. We also have Kentucky out there too. Like, why is Scotty Barnes coming here? Why is
Yeah.
Patrick Williams coming here? We had Matthew
Yeah.
Cleveland, Jalen Warley coming here too. He's made this to be a destination for not only you're gonna play, but you're gonna develop defensively, and I'm gonna guarantee you're gonna be a lottery pick coming next this coming summer. So it's like, to me, he has made this into the program. Like, he is the program builder. Like, people say that Bobby Bowden did the football program. I think Coach Ham has done that and excelled. Actually, probably been even higher than that, in my personal opinion, because it is hard to get people to care about basketball. And he's not only got people to care about basketball, he's got them to be engaged and enjoy it as well.
I love that. What I'm hoping for in Hubert Davis's tenure is that people calm down with their love of basketball. Like for us, obviously being with Carolina, people are too extreme about basketball at times. And I think they want everything to be perfection out the jump. And they don't think about, Roy's star. They don't think about guys who had to go through some struggles and growing pains. And they don't think about the new landscape of college basketball in general. Like Tyler Hansborough was staying all 4 years, right? He wasn't, running off after one and done and saying, I want to go to the league. Now, mind you, he wasn't end up going to be a great league player anyway, but you had guys that were dedicated to Danny Greens of the world. Harrison Barnes wanting to stick it out till at least their junior year. That's not necessarily the case. And so I think while everyone's trying to navigate NIL deals and then the landscape of what college basketball is, you got to have a more realistic expectation and be more excited about some of these wins that he's currently getting.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. And then, example, and it's really funny because when we beat Duke on Wednesday, I'm sitting there, I'm watching them sort in the court, and I was like, part of me, like, from back in when I was in school, I think we made 2 tournaments, and then the rest of the time I was there, we went to the NIT twice, and we didn't make anything my last year there.
Yeah.
But now where I'm sitting there, I'm watching us basketball, I'm like, why are we storming the court? We should be,
Mm,
we should be at the caliber now that we're when we beat Duke, we just, we celebrate it, we go home. But then
yeah.
another part was like, wow, like Coach Ham has made the school into believing that, like, we should be expecting wins like of this caliber against a Duke, against the UNC, against the blue bloods out of the conference. Because as a new blood, that's what we're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing. We're supposed to hold the mantle for the conference, especially now with Coach K leaving, Roy Williams gone. Like, that to me should be his conference for years to come, and that's going to be very exciting to watch because this team, while they're very young and make a lot of dumb mistakes, and also we can't shoot the damn ball, which I discuss all the time on our show. Which it's going to be a fun team to watch. It's a fun program. I just hope Ham is here forever because, like, I know he's up there in age. He looks younger than me, and
Looks great.
I know for damn sure he's in better shape than I am. So I would love to see, like, how much longer he's gonna be here because, like, we love the guy. Build the man a damn statue.
No doubt. Listen, black don't crack. And that's right. That's a for show you're right on. Drizzy Drake, thank you for coming on the show. As always, you make it a good time. Please remind these folks of where they can find you, follow your work.
Before I do that, I do want to give a special shout out to Florida State women's softball. They had 2
Ooh,
freshmen in the D1 softball top 75 freshmen, Brooke Blank and also Amaya Ross. And they also had 3 players in the NSA softball preseason rankings for top 100 players, that being Mac Leonard, Sydney Sherrill, and Catherine Sandercock. Women's softball, we won the championship last year, but we're going to go for the whole entire thing this year. But you can follow me at Tally__Drake. You also can follow us at Knowles Anonymous. That's where we basically engage with our fan base. That's where we have our Discord, where we get the themes or messages or what we want to talk about on the show. And as always, follow my co-host Max Moody at Max Moody 17. As always, go Knowles.
We love a good shout out. Okay, I love that. Shout out to the softball team doing big things. Baseball and softball season are upon us, and I look forward to seeing some good things on the diamond mound, for diamond heels. That's what they call them. The mound. I'm learning. Whatever. Give grace.
The entire thing's diamond, big things.
You got me. Okay,
You
you got me.
I
Okay,
mean,
cool.
you
I'm
had it,
pretty.
man.
I'm fine. I don't care. Whatever. Wrapping it up. Guys, make sure you come back Monday. We'll have a recap of all the games. Follow at Locked On ACC on Twitter. And if you want to get some betting action, you can listen to Locked On Bets podcast wherever you get podcasts with your boy Q and Lee Sterling. So make sure you guys hit them up. For Candace, Cooper, and Drizzy Drake, we hope you guys have a smart and safe weekend. Until next time.